Hello and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer. Today we're unpacking a case study that is it's equal parts heartwarming and incredibly practical. We're going to deconstruct the anatomy of a brand, but we're not looking at a massive tech conglomerate or some glitzy luxury fashion house. Nope. Instead, we are looking at a simple wooden cart on a crowded city street. This is the Rom shoe story, and it's a brilliant look at how raw authenticity and care can literally turn the traditional rules of business completely upside down.
Right off the bat, I want you to hold this central question in your mind. What makes a brand truly valuable? Seriously, think about it. Is it millions of dollars in venture capital, slick marketing campaigns, celebrity endorsements, or some aggressive global expansion strategy? You know, we've been so conditioned to think of brands as these massive, expensive, untouchable entities. But the source material we're unpacking today challenges that exact notion to its core, and it really sets the stage for a totally unexpected journey of transformation.
Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the unseen artist, or the slow craft in a fast world.
Picture this, the crowded, chaotic heart of an old city. There's absolutely no glamour here, just a wooden cart, some worn tools, and an elderly cobbler named Ramnath. From 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day, he sits right there at his cart, and his environment brilliantly illustrates the tension at the heart of our story. You've got the modern world surrounding him, rushing by, living life in the absolute fast lane, completely obsessed with flashy brand names and shiny new things. People just walk right past him without a second glance. But Ramnath's world, it's slow, it's intentional, it's driven entirely by a deep, unwavering dedication to his craft. To him, mending a torn shoe isn't just a gig, it's a devoted art form. He treats every broken shoe like he's piecing together a broken story, waiting patiently in a world that seemingly has no time for him at all.
Section 2, a chance encounter. This is where modern management meets timeless skill.
So the real catalyst of our story is a guy named Vivek. He's a very brand-conscious management student who reluctantly brings his torn leather shoe to this humble street cobbler's cart. Ramnath takes the shoe in his trembling hands, examines it with intense focus, and repairs it flawlessly. No showmanship, just pure skill. And when he hands it back, he delivers this simple, profoundly beautiful line. Now this shoe will walk with you like a new friend. Vivek is just completely stunned. It wasn't merely the quality of the repair. It was the absolute reverence Ramnath had for his work. In that single moment, Vivek's entire perspective on value and service shifts entirely.
Moving into Section 3, Birth of a Brand, Redefining the Rules of Business.
After that initial repair, Vivek literally couldn't stay away. He started visiting the cart daily just to talk. He quickly realized this elderly cobbler possessed a profound, almost grounded wisdom about human connection that they just don't teach you in business school. Which leads us to a radical question. And actually, it's the exact question Vivek posed to Ramnath one afternoon. I'll ask it to you. Can a simple street cobbler become a recognized brand? This right here is where our explainer pivots from a sweet local anecdote into a literal masterclass on business identity. Vivek saw that all the foundational elements of a legendary brand were already sitting right there on that wooden cart. They just needed to be framed correctly. But when Vivek actually pitched the idea of becoming a brand, Ramnath just laughed out loud and said, "I am a cobbler, sir. Brands are made by the rich." That response is incredible because it perfectly encapsulates the traditional and frankly often flawed understanding of what creates a company's identity. We're taught that branding is a luxury for those with massive capital, that you have to buy your way into the public consciousness. Ramnath just couldn't fathom how his dusty street corner could ever compete in that big arena. But Vivek hit back at that assumption immediately. He completely redefined the concept for Ramnath. He explained that a true brand is an identity built on honesty and art, rather than just cold hard money. Your identity, Vivek argued, is your integrity and your skill. So Vivek named this budding enterprise Ram Shoes and boldly launched a social media presence for him. And yeah, for sure, at first people mocked the idea of an Instagram account for street cobbler. But Vivek knew exactly what they had. Section 4. Beyond just repair, shifting from a service to a social movement. As those social media posts started gaining real traction, people showed up. But Ramnath didn't just fix their shoes, he elevated the entire offering. Every customer got a small cup of tea, a really thoughtful conversation, and a warm smile along with their repaired footwear. So the crucial point is that the customers deeply felt this shift. The growing customer base literally started saying, "Today, we are getting our minds fixed, not just our shoes." Ram Shoes had officially evolved from a simple transaction into a deeply emotional, restorative experience.
To really anchor this explainer emotionally, we have to talk about one specific afternoon that definitively proved the overwhelming power of empathy in business. An elderly widow came to the cart carrying a pair of torn shoes that belonged to her late husband. Ramnath took those shoes and mended them with such immense care and love that when he handed them back, the widow actually began to weep. She told him it felt like he hadn't just fixed the shoes, he had mended her precious memories. Watching that incredible moment unfold, Vivek realized Rama shoes had transcended commerce entirely. It was, without a doubt, an experience, not a service.
To solidify this deeply unique identity, they started handing out small, handwritten notes with every single pair of mended shoes. The notes read, "Every broken thing shouldn't be thrown away. Sometimes repair is true love." Just think about how powerful that philosophical messaging really is. In a disposable culture that is constantly screaming at us to throw away the old and just buy the new, Ram's shoes offered a radical, beautiful counter-narrative centered entirely on preservation, care, and love.
Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 5, the Ram Shoes Movement, Scaling Authenticity and Dignity. That quiet magic happening on the street corner? Yeah, it didn't stay a secret for long. The pure authenticity of what Ramnath was doing struck a massive, massive chord, leading to an absolute explosion of organic growth. I'm talking 10,000 Instagram followers gained in just 3 months. Videos of his meticulous work and gentle demeanor went completely viral. His humble cart transformed into a bustling hub. You had school children coming to do projects on him, college students arriving for interviews, and even wealthy businessmen stopping by just to pay their respects.
Today, Ram Shoes has grown into a full-fledged company with multiple trained artisans. But what is absolutely fascinating is their highly unusual onboarding process. Before any new artisan is allowed to work, they have to go through these steps. First, they spend an entire month literally just sitting with Ramnath. Second, they learn the technical skill of mending shoes. But the third, and easily the most important step, is learning how to connect with humans. Ram Shoes treats human empathy as a foundational, non-negotiable technical skill. How amazing is that? When a major media channel eventually came down to interview this famous street cobbler, they asked him how he managed to achieve all of this. Ramnath just smiled and gave this iconic quote, "Earlier, I used to mend broken things. Now I mend broken hopes. That's the only difference." Wow, it completely brings our narrative full circle, bookending his amazing journey from an unseen street vendor to a revered mentor whose true product was the restoration of human dignity. So I want to leave you with a provocative question to really deeply reflect on regarding your own life or career. How do you measure value? Are you building your brand, your life's work, purely with money and resources? Or are you building it with honesty, art, and genuine human connection? Ramnath never set out to be a brand. He just did his work with absolute unwavering integrity. And in doing so, he proved that sometimes the most profound success you can ever achieve comes from simply treating people and your craft with the deep respect they deserve. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time.